Okay, so we're gonna do some abs. So we're gonna come down onto the floor. We're gonna just pull our knees in towards our chest and just kind of warm up and loosen up that low back. So as you're bringing your knees away from you, I want you to practice keeping those ribs down. So notice what happens as you bring those knees further away from you, and then as you pull them in. So we're keeping the ribs down as we're circling. We're not just being loosey-goosey, letting everything become uncontrolled. We want to keep those ribs down, even as we let those knees go away from us. And then keep one knee in, stretch the other knee out, and the other knee in, stretch the other leg out. So keep those ribs down as you're switching. And then just bring those arms overhead, drop your ribs, point your toes or flex them. And then we're going to take it over to the side. So we're trying to keep both shoulders on the mat, both hips on the mat. And you can turn your head to the left if your arms and legs are going to the right. We're going to come back to center. We're going to walk over to the right or the left and turning your head to the right. So drop both of the shoulder blades to the floor, drop your hips to the floor, drop your ribs. So we're just really stretching out abdomen here, but keep your ribs down. Then we're going to come onto our side and we're just going to grab that ankle. Okay, we're going to extend the leg and we're going to engage our core. So keep your ribs down to just start doing some nice big circles. So we're trying to keep our hips very still, and you're doing this by controlling the abdomen. So see if you can feel the work being done in your abdomen. The slower you go, the harder it's going to be, and the more controlled you are. So make sure your hips aren't rolling back. Keep your hips stacked forward. Make sure your shoulders still. Imagine you have a big, like 2 stacked cups of coffee, hot coffee. Let's go the other direction, on your shoulders. You have to be as still as possible. So you can rest your head in your arm, or you can lift your head up in your hands. Let's go the other direction. Again, now we're gonna bring the legs together, turn the leg out of the hip joint, bring the leg up and bring it down. Kick it up and bring it down. Keep those abs engaged, so rib cage down. Every time you drop the ribs, you're gonna feel those abs engage a little bit more. So bring it up and down, bring it up and down, bring it up. And then we're gonna bend that knee and just bring the top leg up and down and feel the ribs dropping. That rib that's closest to the mat, feel it engaging as you lift the leg up and down. 2 and 1. We're going to come on up and we're going to go to the other side. So coming down onto that side, we're just going to stretch the quad. So we want all of our muscles in our body to be at the correct length so that it doesn't affect other muscles in our body, like our abdomen. There's a lot of pressure systems going on in our abdomen, and it can affect our strength and thus what our appearance is and externally, okay? So we want everything to be functioning properly. So we want to practice keeping good length-tension relationships, and that comes through flexibility and stretching and near alignment and all that stuff. So we're going to, again, do some circles. You can start small. You can start small with your circles. I know we started big on the other side. But again, you're stacking those hips, you're stacking your shoulders, you're imagining those cups of hot coffee. Then we're going to go the other direction. So you can go bigger or slower. You can do them big or small, and remember, you want to be really still in your hips. It's going to turn your abs on more. See if you can feel that when you have more control in your pelvis. You don't move forward and back. Be really still, how it engages your core a lot more. Keep your ribs down. Feel that power as you drop your rib cage down. Good, and then the other direction. Relax your shoulders. can start to feel this not only in the ribs, but also in your bottom. We're gonna bring that top, or actually, we're gonna lift and come back down. So we're turning the top leg out at the knee joint. You're lifting up and coming down, lifting up and coming down, lift and lower, lift and lower and lift. Relax your shoulders. And then we're gonna bring that top knee up. We're just lifting and dropping the lower leg. So keep your rib cage down, feel the abdominals supporting this movement. So your abdominals are always there to help support other limb movement. Okay, so you might feel them engaging as you lift and lower your leg, and that's great, that's what we want. So we're gonna come on to hands and knees. I just want you to do a little bit of cat and cow and just kind of stretch it out. And then bring your right ear towards your right hip and your left ear towards your left hip. We're just going side to side. Good. And then I want you to relax your belly. And then as you exhale, draw your navel in towards your spine. So we want to be able to relax the belly. So let your belly really hang. If it could touch the floor, let it. And then as you exhale, you're going to draw your abdominals back in. Keep your ribs down. Okay? So inhaling, exhaling, drawing the abdominals in. See if you can do that without moving your spine. So a lot of times people will say, tuck your tailbone too, and that's fine, but we want to keep our pelvis in neutral and be able to activate our abdominals without manipulating our pelvis. So inhale, belly expands, exhale, draw your navel in. You're going to keep that in mind. We're going to come down onto our tummies, and you're going to just bring your hands flat on the floor, your forearms on the floor, your elbows by your side. You can curl your toes under. We're just going to be coming up onto our knees for this. So you can keep your head in alignment, chin to chest, and we're going to inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to think about blowing out a candle like 2 feet below the floor that you're on now. So there's a candle down below your floor, and you're going to blow out the candle. And as you do that, see how my ribs came down? My ribs came down. Okay? So I'm not arching my back anymore. I'm drawing my rib cage in. So I want you to try that. And we're going to come up on our knees like this. Okay? So here we go. Come down onto your forearms. Inhale. Shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale. Drawing the ribs in. Hold and breathe. Relax your shoulders. You're drawing your shoulder blades away. You're really drawing the ribs in, and then we're going to come down. Inhale. Exhale. So we're coming up as one unit. Holding. Inhale, come back down. Exhale. Now if you want to, you can come up onto your toes. I'll show you what that one looks like on the next round. Most of us get just as good of a workout on our knees. So inhale, exhale, when you're here. So you're still blowing out that candle. It's just a little bit more challenging because you're doing like a full plank. And come back down, we'll do 2 more. Drawing the abdominals in. And come back down. And last one, inhale, exhale. Good, and then we're gonna come onto our knees. We're gonna come on up. I want you to extend one leg out to the side. No, you can't see me. And we're gonna just come up, and we're gonna do a little side plank. I want you to draw your knee in and extend your arm. So I want you to still keep those ribs down, okay? Inhale and exhale. This one isn't too bad. We're keeping those ribs down for 8, 7, push into your whole hand, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then we're going to come on up, see if you can push yourself up, and we're going to do the other side. So extending that leg, we're going to airplane the arms down and just hold here, and then we're going to bring the elbow to the knee. So we're drawing the ribs down. Feel the activation of the abs. Here we go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on up. Good. We're going to bring one foot forward, and we're just going to kind of stretch out the abdominals. I want you to draw the abdominals and the hip flexor. Drop your rib cage down, lift your arm up. Notice if your rib cage stays down or if it wants to pop up as you stretch that arm up. So feeling a big stretch here, we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. So you're trying not to hold on as you switch sides. I did that little movement as I was losing my balance. So go at your own pace. Keep the back of your foot straight. Drop that rib cage. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. And so for the next exercise, if you have a stability ball, grab it. If you don't, you can just do it on the floor. We're just gonna do a regular crunch, but sometimes they're more effective if you do have a stability ball, but sometimes not. So you can go to a corner or just the wall, and you're gonna put your feet up on the wall, and you're going to press up and back down. So we're keeping the small of the back on the ball. We're keeping our elbows open, and we're just pressing up and down, lift and lower, lift and lower. So now if you were doing this on the floor, same thing, your basic crunch, okay? So you're here, we're just gonna come up and down. For 8, drawing the abdominals in, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, either on your ball or on the floor, we're gonna go across and we're gonna go diagonal. So keep drawing the abdominals in. Exhaling as you come up. And then we're going to lift our feet up, and I just want you to stamp your feet on the ceiling. Press and stamp them onto the ceiling for 8, 7. So they say you're working your lower abdominals. There's really no such thing. It's like one long unit, but so be it, your low abs. Stamping on to the ceiling. If you want to, you can come up all the way over. So they do this in yoga. Keep your abdominals pulled in, and then you're going to slowly lower yourself back down. So if you don't want to go that far today, or you cannot, then just keep stamping your feet up on the floor as such. Okay, coming up and over, and then slowly coming down. This is really good flexibility in the spine, and also controlling your abdominals. Bend your knees, lift your hips up, keep those ribs down. Good. And we're just going to come up and down. Try to keep your ribs down. There's a tendency to lift the rib cage, but notice how your ribs really turn on when you keep them down. Good. We're going to do a little bit of Pilates. So we're going to kind of just stretch out a little bit. Let's actually just start with the Pilates 100. So we're going to turn the feet out, and we're going to point the toes or flex them, lower them a little bit. You can lift your head up. Make sure your ribs are down and your hands are behind your head. And we're going to actually bring the arms here. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as you're doing that, you can also keep your knees down like this, but make sure you're drawing your abdominals in, not pushing out. So navel to spine, right? Okay, so go ahead and rest. You can draw those knees in, go side to side. We're going to bring one knee in and switch. So I'm keeping my outside hand on my outside ankle, my inside hand, my inside knee. So one hand is always to the ankle, one hand is always to the knee, and we're switching. And switch. So we're gonna go 1, 2, and switch. 1, 2, and switch. If your neck starts to bother you, then just lower your head down, rest it, and then when you feel strong again, come back up. So you wanna stack your ears over your shoulder so your neck doesn't bother you. Go ahead and rest. You can go from side to side. You can stretch those arms out overhead. We're going to do the double leg stretch. So we're going to keep both knees in. Inhale and exhale. Make sure that your low back doesn't come off the mat and your abdominals are staying in. Now, the lower you go, the harder it is, but make sure that your ribs are staying down and you're still having good form and no pain in your low back. And if your neck's bothering you, always lower it. You can do these exercises with your head on the floor, is fine. Okay, so this next one, we're going to bring your left elbow to your right knee, and then we're going to switch right elbow to left knee. And you're going to pretend like you're in quicksand. So I don't want you to do a lot of herky-jerky movements. You're going to switch, exhale, and switch. So it's controlled. And you can really feel that in the core. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 if you want to do fast for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember to do that controlled. So go ahead and relax. We're going to go into a twist. So we're going to draw the ribs down, bring that knee across your body, other arm comes out to the side, and keep those ribs down. You can turn your head in the other direction. And we're going to switch sides. So keep those ribs down. Go over to the other side. Keep your ribs down. And come back to center. And just notice how you feel. If you have any tension in your neck, just kind of let that go. You can rock your head from side to side. And just notice how you feel. We're going to do rolling like a ball. So we're going to scoot to the front edge of your mat. We're going to grab either behind the thighs, or for more challenge, you can grab the shins. And we're going to tuck into a teeny tiny ball. So draw your navel into your spine. We're going to roll back, and we're going to come up. And when you come up, try not to touch your feet on the floor. So we're going to roll back and put the brakes on. Roll back and put the brakes on. Roll back and put the brakes on. Roll back and put the brakes down. So coming back to center, you might want to sit on something like a half dome or a rolled towel or a yoga mat so that your pelvis can roll forward and be in an anterior pelvic tilt. We're just going to stretch a little bit here, drop your ribs, and then we're going to go into a twist. But normally when people twist, they arch their back and they lift their ribs. I want you to keep your ribs down. Inhale and exhale. We're going to twist one direction. Keep those ribs down. And just notice how much more different it is to twist with your ribs down than like lifting your ribs and twisting. So drop your ribs and rotate and breathe. So you can do it in a sitting position. We never are like this. We're really stretching our inner thighs. So I think it's a good thing to help free up our abdominals, prevent diastasis recti, prevent uneven pressure systems. So keep dropping your rib cage, twist, 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 relax your shoulders. And then we're going to come back to center, go the other direction. Twists are great for circulation, cardiovascular health, but they're also really good for toning your midsection. Keep dropping your rib cage. Twist using your abdominal muscles. Keep dropping your rib cage, dropping your rib cage. The babies are playing over there on their play mat. So if that's what you hear, the little rattles moving around. Keep dropping those ribs and twisting. Then we're going to come back to center and lean forward. Drop your ribs, draw your toes back towards you. Inhale, exhale, go a little bit deeper. And then we're going to come on up. We're going to take it over to the side. So we're going to place one hand on that arm and just open up. So now here, keep your ribs down and breathe. So we're just breathing into that side body. We're stretching it out. Oh, come on up over to the other side. Keep the ribs down, abdominals gently pulled in. And come on up. Good. So I just want to show you really briefly how you want to be standing in neutral pelvis so that your ribs turn on. So right here, below your, find the bottom of your rib cage, and then find your hip bone, so your ASIS. you want to drop your rib cage so that it lines up with the hip bone. If I do this, you can see how my rib is in front of my ASIS, my hip bone. So I'm going to drop my ribs, and now I'm in alignment, okay? And that's going to turn on your abdominals so that you feel powerful and that you actually are powerful and you have your body work as a whole unit. So you can do this when you're sitting, when you're standing. When you're sitting, you still want your ASIS to be over that pubic bone and your rib cage down over your hip bone. So we can go over that in more detail in another video. That was your ab workout video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.